Good morning, and thank you for joining today's webinar. This is Don Emmett. I'm managing broker of Murphy Business Sales in Raleigh, North Carolina. And this is the first in a series of webinars I plan on doing for business owners and their advisors. Today's topic, as you can see, is Introduction to Business Succession and Exit Planning. So, a little bit about me. I've been a business intermediary, I guess maybe more commonly known as a business broker, for over 12 years now. Prior to that, I was a business owner. I'm still a business owner, about 20 years in the electronic component distribution business. I was a partner in a firm that we grew to about $20 million. We're selling electronic components, semiconductors, computer chips, mostly for military applications. Right. So I had a successful exit from that business, and then wanted to help others also have successful exits. So I got into the career of business brokerage. So without further ado, let's take a little bit. Learn a little bit about exit planning and get some numbers for you from some. So our philosophy is a simple one. We help business owners plan for the single most important financial decision of their lives: how and when to transition out of their business. So unless you're a serial entrepreneur, starting several businesses and selling them or merging them, most business owners will only get to do this once. So you have one shot at a successful exit/succession. If you don't do it right, you can leave a lot of money on the table, pay way too much in taxes, and/or lose control of the process. Let me show you, these are a few statistics from VEI, Business Owner Surveys. VEI is a company I'm affiliated with in Denver, Colorado. They're involved with the Business Enterprise Institute, and they teach and provide content to advisors in the field of exit planning. So in this diagram, or in this slide, 79% of business owners plan to exit their business in the next 10 years. Of those, apparently 75% of business owners would exit their business if they had financial security. Many owners are burned out, tired, and don't want to just take some chips off the table. They're ready to leave, even though they may not be prepared. Business owners understand the importance of planning and implementing action items to operate the business successfully. In the context of their careers, it makes sense that business owners believe that planning is paramount to success. Here's an interesting number. Of the 79% of business owners wanting to exit their business, about all of them have talked to their spouses or family about the idea. But less than 20% have actually talked to an expert in exit planning or considered someone with expertise in that area. So they may have spoken to their CPA, attorney, or some other professional advisor, but they don't feel the advisors have any or enough knowledge in planning a successful succession or exit planning. And a similar number, a very small percentage, 17%, have actually put their plan in writing. That means that the great majority, over 80%, are flying by the seat of their pants. When you got into your business, Hopefully you had a business plan. So why not an exit plan? Think of it as not having a will, which is kind of irresponsible. Your business also needs a will, and not just a buy-sell agreement. In case something happens to you, you need a real written plan that crosses T's and dots I's. And another kind of astonishing number, 38% of business owners have done nothing at all in preparation for transitioning out of their business. This isn't terribly surprising. At least most owners have thought about leaving their business. So there's one kind of thing that we can't get away from. 100% of us will leave our business at some point in time, whether willingly, under our terms, or not. So we help business owners prepare for this. So succession and exit planning is a holistic approach to designing an exit strategy from your business that allows you to receive maximum value for your life's work. It encompasses setting exit objectives, such as when do you want to leave, to whom will you sell the business, putting together a team of trusted advisors, a CPA, an attorney, financial advisor, at the very least, and writing down each aspect of the transition sequence. An exit plan will help you limit your tax burden by implementing strategies to keep your unwanted business partner, that being the IRS, from becoming too greedy. Finally, exit planning will keep you in control of the process. Putting your business up for sale in the business opportunities section of the newspaper is a sure way to lose control. There are 5 critical elements for a business owner to successfully exit his or her business. First, there needs to be a written plan based on your unique objectives. We help to build a custom exit plan based on what your situation dictates. If you want to transfer ownership to your son or daughter, we can do that. If you want to always be a minority owner who's involved in the company forever, we can do that too. If you want to sever ties and never look back, we can make that happen. Second, there needs to be an experienced advisor team in place. There needs to be at least one advisor who knows the exit planning process and has the time and resources to keep the exit plan on course. Generally, that's the role that I assume, to guide and facilitate. I'm not going to dictate to the other advisors what they need to do. They're experts in their fields. It's important for us to get their advice and recommendations on how best to proceed. But having an exit planning advisor, kind of like a quarterback, to facilitate the process is critical to completing a successful plan. Thirdly, the business needs positive and ideally growing cash flow. And we need to know the value of the business at the start of the process. Why? Well, cash flow is important to an outside and third-party purchaser. It proves the business is viable and worth buying. If you're selling internally, the future cash flow of the business is going to fund your payoff. If you don't know the value of your business, then you're at the whim of the buyer. A third-party buyer will certainly know how much he or she is willing to pay for your business. So you would better know how much your business is worth. In other words, you need to get a business valuation. Fourth, it's difficult to sell a business to a third party without a management team that will stay behind to continue to run the business. If there's no strong management team, few outside buyers will be interested, and/or that's going to affect valuation. As the owner, if all the wisdom about the business is in your head, when you leave, there's little to no intrinsic value left in the business. If you're planning a sale to insiders, they'll most likely sell to the management team, which must be able to run the business on a daily basis without you and your guidance. Business must be viable because it may take some time to bring the team up to speed. It may be necessary to bring in a management consultant to train the management team to run the business, in which case you'd better get on with it because that could take some time. Lastly, you need time. We all wish we'd had more, but it takes time to plan for an exit and implement the necessary steps. It may take years to build enough cash flow to support the value you need and or to get your management team up to speed. If you wait until 6 months before you want to leave the business and have inadequate cash flow and or your business lacks a strong management team, it's going to be very difficult to develop and execute a successful exit on your terms at the valuation that you're looking to receive. So these are the 5 critical elements, and we'll go through these again in our 7-step exit planning process, and you'll see how this all plays out. And here is the 7-step exit planning process. A rather busy slide. It says, I'm a member of the Business Enterprise Institute's network of exit planning professionals. And BEI is one of the most prestigious associations of exit planning professionals in North America. And they develop most of the content that we're viewing today. So exit planning can be complex, hit and miss approach, or it can be a relatively simple, systematic approach. We, of course, favor and use the second approach. Our process has 7 steps. We do not do them necessarily in order, but we do need to ensure that we accomplish all of them. Number 1, and most importantly, is the owner objectives. You determine when you want to leave the business. It all depends on you, the business owner. How much do you need after taxes to live comfortably after the transition? And who is your target successor? Is it a third party? Is it a family member, a key employee, the management team, if it's even known? Second, requires us to quantify the business and personal resources in terms of your objectives. This helps us determine what you'll need to get from the sale of your business to assure financial security. The financial planning team can run projections to see how much after-tax income is required to continue your current lifestyle and what net proceeds you'll need from the sale to provide that income. There are a lot of great financial instruments and tools and strategies that can keep a business owner with guaranteed income and successful flow of successful and investment income to accomplish their financial and lifestyle goals. Step 3, maximizing and protecting value. This has several parts. It involves determining how the business can be made more attractive. What are the value drivers can we work on to increase the business value throughout the process? What can we do to protect the value by minimizing the tax impact of the transition and protect against potential risks such as litigation and recessions and keep things on an even keel? Finally, steps 4 and 5 go together. Usually pursue one or the other. Will the sale be to a third party for cash, or will it be to an insider, family member, key employee? There are specific strategies we may implement in each case to level the playing field and give you, the business owner, positive position during the negotiations. In step 6, business continuity planning, or this is, fortunately, what happens if you get hit by a bus. Here, We help make sure that things are in place to continue the business and preserve value until the business is sold. This is kind of speaking of the will that your business should have. Particularly if family members don't want or are unable to take over. Step 7 is personal wealth and estate planning. This is going to minimize the tax consequence to the owner, the business, and the family, while planning for the investment and protection of the sale proceeds. We will always do steps 1 and 2. We want to know your goals and objectives, your dreams and visions. The more clear these are, the easier it will be to help you reach your goals. The valuation step. This helps us know the kinds of resources we have to work with. Will you be like most business owners and have your wealth tied up in the business? Or is there wealth outside the business, investments, and other assets? The key is to help you reach your goals. Here's how the process looks in a graphical format. Note that you, the business owner, are at the center, surrounded by a team of professional advisors. The team approach is recommended because no one professional has all the expertise in every area of the exit planning process. Being in the bullseye is not an optimal situation for the business owner. There are just too many things to consider while trying to run a business. Much like you don't want to have 10 to 12 direct reports, you need to delegate, you need to have lines of communication, lines of responsibility. So we recommend a quarterback and or exit planner to be in the middle and to interact with all the other business advisors and have one point of contact for the business owner in implementing and executing the plan. Of course, you'll be making decisions on how the plan is to be built and organized, but the exit planning advisor will be counseling you on the big picture and making sure the other team members are getting things done on time and within budget. We want to make sure there's communication between the team members. No one should be doing anything in a vacuum. Using the team approach will be more effective in the long run, both in terms of efficiency and cost effective. Our job as the exit planning advisor is to bring a set of ideas and possible recommendation based on your needs, wants, and wishes, and produce from a sophisticated software system that BEI allows us access to, and coordinate efforts to bring your exit plan to fruition, to help you live the dream. I had a client a couple of years ago, a $3 million transaction. It was a metal fabrication business. And it was a great transaction. We had found a great buyer, professional staff, and good management in place. It was a good team of attorneys and CPAs working together to get to the finish line. And I touch base with this with the seller from time to time, and I say, John, how are you doing these days? And the answer is always the same: living the dream, Don. Living the dream. Thanks for all your help. So hopefully you can live the dream too. Let's see. So as we mentioned a couple of times, an exit plan will take time. Here's what I mean. In the discovery phase, generally 30 to 90 days, is where we gather the data, all the information to create a plan. We'll need a business valuation, cash flow forecast, copies of previous buy-sell agreements, and so on. If the stars align and nobody gets sick or goes on vacation, it can possibly be done in 30 days. More likely, in the real world, 60 to 90 days is more like it. After accumulating all the data, we begin to create the plan. Enter the data, produce recommendations, meet with the other advisors, assign responsibilities. There may be a need to meet individually with each of the advisors to flesh out their pieces, It takes some time for each advisor to write up their portion of the plan. And then there's the implementation, which can be done within 180 days. It may take several years, depending on your goals and objectives. A comprehensive plan, which includes all the steps, could be implemented in as little as 6 months, depending on the complexity. Most recommendations can be executed simultaneously, so we can have a lot going on at the same time. So, as an example, there are strategies where you may be transferring 25% of the company per year to an individual or maybe a team. So, obviously, that strategy, 25% a year, is going to take 4 years. So, what's in it for the owner? The first benefit is getting maximum value for the sale of your business. It may not always be the highest price. I've seen cases where, particularly an auction type situation, where the highest price doesn't win the day. It's often who the owner feels is going to be the best steward of their business and do the right thing by their customers and employees. So it kind of depends. What do you value? Time with family, reduce stress, your legacy, successful continuation of the business, continued employment of your loyal employees. Whatever you value, that's what we work toward. Try to get as much of it as possible. Secondly, we look to minimize risk. In business, we deal with risk every day. We don't want to take on any unnecessary risk. The exit plan identifies and addresses them before they become too much of an issue, and wherever possible, we look to mitigate those risks. As you plan your most important business event, your eventual exit, and ideally reduce your risk overall and get you out from under your obligations to credit lines and bank loans and such. Finally, but most importantly, we keep you, the business owner, in control until you are ready to make the move. A departure from your business should always be on your timeline and terms, not someone else's or natural events. My experience has been that business owners would rather control their own destiny than just sit back and let it happen. Planning addresses that need. And one of the things that needs to be fleshed out and planned for is, what's the plan for after the business is sold? So what are you going to do? That's going to come up in one of the second or third questions a buyer or a successor is going to ask. And ideally, you want to have other interests or things to do after you segue out of your business. So we want to, as we said, maximize value, minimize risk, stay in control, take your business on the best course you think is best. Many factors. So the endeavor is going to depend on, do you have a $200,000 business or $20 million business? How many moving pieces? Do you have subsidiaries, agreements, licensing, franchising? So it's going to be fees charged by your trusted advisors. How much time do you have or do you want? And what are your goals and objectives? So questions we'll save for another time. So the next step is to begin your succession journey. You can contact me for a free private consultation to determine your readiness to transition out of your business. If you're an advisor and you have any clients that may want to get this information, or we can can talk about how best to introduce this information to your client, please be in touch. So what we're doing is we're educating, we're not selling. We have expertise and services to offer, and we're not for everyone, and we're looking for good fits for people to work with. So here's my contact information. If you don't already have it, reach out to me by phone or email. Visit my website at murphybusiness.com/Raleigh-South. I want to thank you for joining us today. And the next webinar, we're planning for March 3rd. I'll be sending invitations to that event. Thanks again for your time, and look forward to talking with you soon.